What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Lifestyle Boost podcast. It's your host, Dosia Mabo.
And it's Emma Mabo.
Okay, as you can see, we're both wearing red.
It's festive season.
Yeah, it's officially the first, well, by the time you're seeing this video, it's officially the 1st of December. So we wanted to do something nice. So we wanted to wear red pretty much for all the upcoming episodes. So it's going to be this episode and the next 3 episodes. We'll be dressed in festive outfits. Yeah, Christmas attires. And obviously we're supposed to put the Christmas tree in here.
Tree, yeah.
But I don't know. We just got too busy. But next episode, you definitely see it very, not glittery, but like more Christmassy in here.
It's going to be pretty.
Yeah, I had to pull this jacket from, I think I bought this jacket probably like 3-4 years ago, and I had to pull it up.
Yeah, you wear that every Christmas.
Yeah, literally.
Do better.
For the past like 3 or 4 Christmases, I've been wearing this jacket. But I don't know. It's still cute. I'm still going to keep it though.
Honestly, this ain't Christmas.
Definitely not.
But we had to wear red. So
yeah,
I'm wearing red.
Well, red or green, if you know, because like we have a green.
I don't think I even have
here.
any green.
I think I have a green. Do I have a green? Oh, I used to. I gave it away. I used to have a green sweater.
This is very, this is subjective, but I don't like the ugly sweaters. Like, it's just not aesthetically pleasing.
Well, that's the point. It's supposed to be ugly. That's why it's in its name, ugly sweater.
But why would I wear that? That's the question.
It's it's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the point of it.
Personally, I don't like it. Like, it just looks very raggedy. And
I don't mind
I'd rather
it.
not.
I don't mind it. It's whatever. Okay. So I saw for today, I wanted us to talk about this. Like I saw this trending on like TikTok and I don't use Twitter. I can't use that app for the life of me. But I saw it on TikTok. It was trending. It was apparently the guys are out talking about how they hate their girlfriends.
Do you know what? I actually saw that thread on Twitter and the comments were wild,
Yeah, and like I thought that was interesting, because like I guess for the people who like live with their partners, like I can see how like they can hold a lot of resentment and not necessarily talk about it.
Yeah.
But like the comment section in like the in the like, well, I guess they're tweets that people take and repost on like Instagram.
It was like a thread, right?
Yeah.
It was because I did see the thread on Twitter, and it was a whole thread, and the guys were just responding under, like, and I think I saw one that this guy was like, he just works extra just because he don't want to see that. He didn't even call her by her name. He was like, just because he don't want to see that bitch. Another one was like, oh, she's just getting fatter as the days go by.
Oh my God.
Like, it was bad, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Well, that's to me, I think that's very sad though, because like it's fine to hold resentment. Well, it's not fine to hold resentment. Like, please communicate if you have resentment, but it's like that's ghetto. Like, how can you? And the thing is, they would never tell you, because I feel like a lot of people don't want to be the one to break up with people.
Yeah.
So they'll kind of just in having a job, it's called slow quitting, where like you go in and you're doing the bare minimum, so you get fired. I feel like it's the same in some relationships.
It's almost like, I feel like it's almost like systemic desensitization, that they're just like gradually removing themselves from the situation because they don't want to end up in like in a toxic breakup or whatever.
I feel like if my partner was to ever come and tell me one day, like, well, obviously they won't tell you, but like if I was to ever find out that they didn't like me, I think I'll cut it off right then and there.
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't drag it,
because I feel
for
like
sure.
for it to get to that point and for you not to communicate, especially if I'm doing something wrong, and then is that person saying like, oh, she just got fat, like that's just rude.
Let's be fair.
Like, that's just rude.
Let's be fair. If the coin was flipped and we were talking about how, if it was how like girls don't like their boyfriends anymore, I feel like I've been in a situation like that, where I'm mentally checked out before physically calling it quits, because it's like, why the fuck am I even with this guy?
Yeah.
Like I was in the point where, not that I was like actively saying nasty stuff about this person, but it's like you mentally check out. But them guys, they mentally checked out and they was ready to drag them girls to the mud.
See, for me,
what I'm
like,
saying? They was dragging their girlfriend to the mud. Because I saw another one and he was talking about how oh, she snores so bad.
Oh
I'm
my
like, bro, you
God.
knew she was snoring before. And then another one, he was like, her feet is just so big. I'm like,
That's
bro,
crazy.
you
Like,
been new.
I know
She
those
didn't
are
start
like
snoring
normal
today.
things. Like those are normal things that you knew, but
Like, you been new when you was trying to talk to her. You said to yourself, you're gonna ignore all these things, and now for some reason you don't like her anymore, and she has big feet.
and I think also it's because I guess you do fall out of love with, like, there is times when you're not, you know, like the most, like, you don't feel the butterflies in your stomach for your partner, but then it's like you have to like okay, so I listened to this podcast. It was a guy that was like, I think he was like a love expert or something like that. And he was basically saying that like you fall in love with your partner throughout your relationship or throughout your lifetime, something along those lines, about 4 to 6 times, where like you fall out of love with your partner and fall back in love with your partner. So it's kind of like you choose whether or not like you want to do that. Like if you want to fall back in love with your partner, because there's times where like you're technically not in love with them anymore.
Yeah.
He worded it better.
I mean, I get what you mean, and it's also like there is times where like the person that even if you're just talking to this person, there is times where you're just like, he gives me the ick, you know, like, or she gives me the ick. But at the same time, it's like you do have this thought, but to verbalize them like that on Twitter,
like, I think that's just being like,
it's crazy.
That's
and
been evil.
It was the part where he said she had big feet. I just couldn't. That shit was so funny. Oh, look, this one. The girl texted the guy. She was like, you don't post me like you used to. You hate me. And the guy responded, yeah, I do.
I'm gonna break up with you right away. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that with you. Like,
let me tell you something. Like, it's comical, you know, like it's no way that this is somebody that you used to love and you don't even care about her
I know
feelings.
they don't
You're just
care.
like, yeah, I do.
And what are you gonna do about that?
That's crazy. That's actually wild. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, no, like they don't that's inhumane for me. Like,
but like, don't you feel like, and girls, don't come for me now. Don't come for me. But like, I feel like it could be flipped, and I said this before, like I feel like it could be flipped, because on the other side there is girls that make the men miserable.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like, I know a guy that he says his happy place is when he's at school because his wife is a terrorist, bro.
I'm not surprised.
Do you
by
get
that,
what I
though.
mean?
Like,
so
I'm
like,
really not.
but them guys were dragging them girls to the mud, you know. And I'm like, I don't know.
That one was just straight up evil. Like,
he's like, yeah, I do. He don't care about her feelings. He's like, you know what, we need to break up.
Okay, so the next thing that I wanted us to talk about too was like, well, I guess it's in relation to this whole like hate trend thing of like guys hating their girlfriends, was posting your significant other. Like, what do you feel about that? Like, how do you think about that?
Okay, so for me personally, right, I wouldn't post my significant other because I feel like, especially Instagram, and a girl had said that online like a few days ago. I saw it on TikTok. She did say that Instagram is full of monitoring spirits. Like,
it is.
They would just view your stuff, never like, never comment, nothing. They're just viewing. And I just feel like personally, right, if I'm in a relationship with someone, I feel like it's my business. I would not post it just because like I feel like it's just so many people that are watching, you know. And not that I'm scared of anybody, obviously I'm not, but it's just like I want to keep it private, you know. Like, I want to keep it, it's like sacred, you know.
For me, like, I don't really like, I don't like Instagram anymore, but like I don't have a problem with posting my significant other. Like, for me, I see it differently. It's like I would post him on like special occasions, like is it a birthday, is it like, you know, we go on a nice trip, is it a anniversary?
No, for sure.
I will post him on those like occasions, but it wouldn't be something where like my entire feed is like, oh, me and my mans and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't do it. And the reason why
I cannot do the feed, bro. I couldn't.
The reason why is like for me, I'm fine with not posting them, but like I do anyway, just because like I want to. I guess I'm trying to say like, it's okay to not want to post your man. Like, that's totally understandable, because like I just feel like Instagram is really weird.
Yeah,
and
it's
honestly,
very weird.
I don't like. There used to be a time where like I lost my Instagram account because someone hacked it. I was like, oh my god, I need to get back on Instagram. Like, I really like was stressing about not having my Instagram account, and so I got back my Instagram account, and then like I was able to build it, right. And right now I think I'm at like 1,000 whatever, but I don't really care for the app anymore because like I feel like it's really like, first of all, it messes with your psyche. That's one, because like you're over here thinking like everything is like glitz and glamorous and like.
Do you know what? There's this. He's like a neuroscientist, and Diary of a CEO had interviewed him. I think it's Dr. Allen. I'm not sure. He did say, right, this was an old interview. No, he didn't do this on Diary of a CEO, but he said that a single like releases like a shit ton of dopamine in your brain, you know. And when I saw that, that kind of scared me because everybody does this. Like when you post a picture and you're getting so many likes, or when you post a TikTok, or even if we post this podcast episode and we're getting so many likes, like it's like scientifically, like all the way down, like your brain is releasing some dopamine. And I'm like, that actually scared me, you know?
Yeah, like for me, like when it comes to Instagram, I don't care for the app anymore. I've gone to a point where like, because like I used to be very stressed about like, oh, like, you know, I have to have an aesthetic feed. It has to like have this, you know, like LV, like Louis Vuitton or Dior. I don't fucking know.
Aesthetics,
like I had to have like some type of aesthetics. And then I've gone to a point like, who am I trying to please? It doesn't even matter if you do that, because like, it's like, I feel like Instagram is like the Lululand in a sense.
It kind of
like,
is.
It's almost like it's everyone on there is living in a fantasy. Like nothing is real on there, and so it's almost like I haven't played Sims, but my understanding of Sims is that you create your whole life on you know, whatever you want to have on the Sims game. I feel like that's Instagram. Like people go on there and they just create this facade of what I guess they imagine their lives are. I just feel like everyone on there is not real. And so for me, when it comes to like posting on there, I've gotten to a point where I post what I want to post.
Yeah,
and if it's like
facts.
my anniversary and I want to post like my boyfriend, then I will post my boyfriend. In the past I used to worry like, oh, like is this cringe to post or whatever, and it'd be a perfectly fine photo, but I'll over here be thinking like, oh, is this cringe, you know, like is this like are people gonna like it or whatever. Now I really don't care. Like if I go on a vacation and I take a picture and it's not in the nicest lighting or whatever, I'll just post it.
Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, I feel like people associate not posting your partner to being like
you don't like them,
or like, oh, you don't want to post your partner because you don't want to like how do I word this, like you don't want to block your shine or whatever, like
you don't want to show that you're single. I've heard someone say that.
Like you don't want to show
that you don't want to show that you're in a relationship. Yeah,
but it's not even about that, because if you're in a relationship and you don't post your man, there's still certain things or certain vacations that you go on that just by looking at it you can tell that this person's on a vacation with their man. They don't have to necessarily post the guy, you know. And it goes the same way for people that choose to post their man, you know what I'm saying. Like if you're posting your man, that is totally your business. Like I don't think anybody should come at you for that, you know. So
but yeah, that's what I think about it.
For sure.
I also wanted to talk about this one, like I guess as it relates to like the posting of your man, like gender roles and expectations, because I feel like obviously people have like different especially in this era we're in right now. There's a lot of conversation about like, oh, like this is my role as a guy or this is my role as a girl, and then there's a lot of people that are very opinionated about like, oh, everything has to be like directly equal, everything has to be like 50-50. But like, what do you think about that?
I think, and I'm just gonna put a disclaimer, my opinions are very subjective. This is how I feel. I feel like I don't want to be in a relationship that is 50-50. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and when you say 50-50, when you say you want a man to be a provider, I feel like the way I think about it is completely different from how other people think about it. Because when you say that you want a man to be a provider, what I'm thinking is that, yes, he can be like the provider of everything, or he can be providing, let's say, 80-20 or 70-20, or however it is that y'all, you know, decide for him to be the provider or whatever. If he's down bad, I know that I'm going to hold him up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I know that I'm going to be there for him. I'm going to chip in where he falls short. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like when people hear, oh, I want a guy to be a provider, some of the guys just mentally check out. They're just like, I'm not going to be busting my ass while a girl is just sitting over there eating my money. But it's not even about that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I heard this advice from someone before, a very, very long time ago. And that stuck with me. And they were like, the minute you start talking about like percentages, the whole thing is wrong.
Yes,
The minute you start talking about like, this is how much I'm gonna bring and this is how much you're gonna, the whole thing is off, because you're supposed to show up your 100% and that other person shows up their 100%.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And then it's like, your role as your gender is not going to be the same role as the other person. Like, in the sense of, I guess I should put some context, because I know there's some people that are going to be like, well, what about the lesbians, or what about the gays, or whatever. It's like they have their own dynamic. I'm speaking in the sense of a man and a woman. She knows her role and the man knows her role. In my specific like situation, I know what my role is. You know what I mean? Like, in the future, when I get married, I would know that, okay, I want to take care of my home. I want to be the one cooking. I want to be the one cleaning. I'm never going to say that, oh, because I'm doing these things, then you have to contribute. No, like, that's just my role, and that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Now, on the providing end, that's just your role as a man. Like, I'm not going to say like, oh, because you're bringing, I don't know, 20% or 50%, I'm going to bring this. Now, when it comes to us being down bad, we're a team.
Exactly.
Like, we're a team. Yeah. There's no singulars in this thing. Like, we have to work together.
I feel the exact same way, because I feel like when people just hear, you know, there's specific guys that when they just hear about the provider, they automatically think that, oh, the girl is trying to be a gold digger. Yeah. It's not even about that.
It's not that. And
you know what I'm saying?
For me, like, there's times that, like, we've gone to dates that I'm the one that has paid for the dates. And there's times that, like, my man has paid for the dates. And it's not...
When you do that, sorry to cut you short, but it's like, when you do that, it's not even about the fact that, oh, I'm wearing my pants in my relationship. Right. No. Sometimes you're just doing that to appreciate your partner.
Exactly.
Do you get what I mean?
I feel like people should normalize taking out your man, because like I've been doing that recently, where I'm just like, let's go out, I'll pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, out, and that's not, it has nothing whatsoever to do with like, it's not me like emasculating him or anything like that. I'm literally just wanting to treat my man nicely. Yeah. But then, like, you know, like, I also get that treatment in return, where like he takes me out. You know, it's even, I said this in the last episode, it's something as little as me going to bed and having like a water bottle always next to me, because like he knows that like he has to take care of me, and I know I have to take care of him in my own ways, the same way he does it, vice versa.
Yeah, I just don't feel like people should I just don't feel like people should categorize like being a man being a provider with only like finances. Yeah. I feel like they're like just excluding everything else.
But then again, that's the world we live in now. There's a lot of girls that are going online and they're literally glamorizing like having sugar daddies, and they're like, they have a whole crash course on like, here's how to have a sugar daddy. He's gonna pay this.
Fair game to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you gotta do, but it's just like do what you gotta do, but it's like, you know, I feel like personally, if I'm in a relationship, I want to be taken care of. Yeah. But I want a guy that can provide and support me. But at the same time, I'm not going to be that partner where my husband is down bad and I'm only sitting over there saying like, oh no, you have to be the provider. Yeah. I can't step in. No, we're a team.
So I watched this guy called Remit, right? And I read his book. He also has a Netflix show called I'll Teach You How to Be Rich. And so I watched an episode recently. Actually, I watched it yesterday, where this lady, you know, she's in that whole mindset of like, you know, my husband's a provider. She does have a job. She's a nurse. And but the problem was they were in $900,000 worth of debt, right? And
it's like, how do people even get in that much debt?
She did not know whatsoever, right? And she was like completely oblivious of it, right? And the reason why is because in her head, she's like, well, he's a provider. He knows everything. He does everything. Now, I don't know if this is directly related to like the gender roles, but it just made me think of it. But it was like she wasn't involved in nothing that was going on in like their finances or anything like that. Until one day they stumbled on the Netflix show and they were watching it, and like and then she was like, honey, actually how much debt are we in? And then they punched the numbers only to find out you're almost in like $1 million worth of debt. And the way she explained their lifestyle is that, well, he just always provided everything. And like, you know, they had like at least 10 to 15 credit card debt, where like he just kept creating credit card upon credit card upon credit card, and he was like, well, we'll just pay it off, and we'll just pay, and each of those credit cards were at least $5,000 to $10,000 in them. And she would just go on a shopping spree, and like, you know, she would also go should also take vacations, and they'll just take like vacations on a like apparently last summer they took like 3 vacations, right? And it was unplanned. They'll just up and go and spend like $7,000 on a weekend vacation. But the point is, she didn't know what was going on in her head. She was just like, that's why I was mentioning like we're a team. You have to know what's going on. Like, I'm not just gonna say like, oh, because you're the provider, here, just handle everything. She was completely oblivious to it, only to find out they're almost in $1 million worth of like debt.
Insane.
And she was just in shock. And when they were like punching the numbers, you know, apparently they came up with a thing where they said like it would take about 5 years for them to get out of there, but they would have to like completely stop going on the vacations. And the thing that baffled me was that like, even though this woman knows that she's now finding out that she's in that much debt, the guy asked her like, well, so how are you gonna do to change your life? And she was like, well, I guess we'll just reduce the amount of vacations we're going. He's like, reduce the amount of vacations? You're not going on any other vacations. No. But it's like, because she had that lifestyle and that mentality that like, but he's always provided, like she's still going, well, we're still gonna be fine.
But
like,
you know what, I wouldn't completely blame her.
No, I'm not blaming her at all.
I definitely get what you're saying, but in my head I'm thinking like he enabled her.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
definitely,
you enabled that kind of behavior, because if y'all are in so much debt, you need to tell her like, hey, let's slow it down a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it was also an ego thing. A big ego thing, where like she would just ask him like, honey, I want to go shopping, here's a credit card. And the thing that like blew my mind is like, how doesn't it ring in your head that every time you guys go on these luxury trips and whatever, there's a different credit card that's being pulled out? How do you not know that? You know, so that was a very like interesting like episode for me. I was like, you know, I don't want to judge them, but it's also like, how do you not know this? Like how? But yeah, that was an interesting, you know,
one. another one, and I think he kind of relates to the gender role thingy. It's Kevin Samuels. You know, I listen to Kevin Samuels, and I'm not one of those ladies that completely disagreed on what he said. You know, a lot of the things he said were facts, but he could have worded it a little bit different.
I didn't really listen to the guy. I heard a lot of controversy about him.
It was a lot of controversy. Never, like, you know, really they said he was a misogynist, but like, I'm not going to get into that because I'm not trying to be like one of them pick me's or whatever. Subjectively, I thought that some of the things he said didn't make sense, but maybe he could have worded it different. You know, like the way he conveyed the message could have been a little bit different. But there was one thing that he said that, you know, he said something about, you know, if you want a guy that is like a provider, don't quote me with this, but he said if you want a guy that is a provider or something like that, and you're a plus size girl, you know, you need to lose weight to get a big guy, to get a guy that has money and all that stuff, right? So pretty much they were associating, you know, weight. Like if you're a plus size girl, if you're fat, you need to settle. You know what I'm saying? You need to settle. But in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with this, because her weight doesn't mean that she don't have shit going for herself,
right? And it definitely doesn't mean, it doesn't define her character.
It doesn't define her character. Like, why should she settle? And that resonated with me so much, because I'm like, okay, so you want to tell me right now that I'm overweight, I should settle? I would rather stay single. Do you get what I mean? Because I will never settle. And I was reading the comments, right? And what he said made sense, you know, like, but just some parts of it was just questionable, because like, I think a girl had come on there, and the things she was saying, she was just, you know, she was just like going off on how she wants a 6-figure guy and all this stuff, but she had like all these kids and she didn't have a job. So I get why he said that. But also I was thinking too, it's like, if he were to say that message, I feel like he should have been specific to that girl.
Yeah, instead of like generalizing
every plus size girl. And then the men in the comment sections took that and ran with it, because obviously, you know, it's a shit ton of people that just get after people with their weight and shit.
Oh yeah, that's the internet. I feel like the internet just like, they find something to pick on and
they just run with it.
Yeah, and they go with it.
Yeah.
Like,
so the guys in the comment section were saying like, yeah, you know, like a guy can always get money. But in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, you think the girl she can always lose weight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She can always lose weight. She can always pay for a personal trainer if she got her shit together, lose weight, change her diet. You know what I'm saying? The same way y'all are saying that the guy can always get money, the girl can always lose weight.
Yeah, and I feel too like,
you know?
like like there's this weird thing where, well, like I've never been in that situation, so I don't know how I would handle it, but I have an idea of how I'll go about it. Like still retaining your gender roles if the female had to be making a lot more money than the man. And I've had this conversation with my man before, and I've told him like, I don't want you to ever feel a certain type of way or feel like you're less than, because money is just a number. Like at the end of the day, like I don't equate to money. Like it's not dossier equals money. No, it's I'm a person and money is just a thing. Like money is that.
I hear what you're saying, and in as much as I understand what you're saying, I would prefer not to be in that situation.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but I'm saying like it's very like real. It could happen. You know what I mean? Your significant other could lose their job.
Get laid off.
God forbid, have an accident where they can't work. Like that is a real possibility.
Oh yeah, of course.
And it's just being prepared for when that happens. Like, if this was to happen, I don't want you to run wild on me. You know what I mean? Because there's people that will let their insecurities get in the way, and then it's like everything just becomes like a clash, and it's like it's almost like they don't see you the same anymore, and they have this illusion in their head that you now have big shoulders, or you now are like, you know, making like you're a big boss or whatever. But it's like that's your insecurity speaking. I've never, granted, if I haven't given you a reason to feel that way, then you're kind of projecting on me, because like I've not made you feel that way. You're just, you know.
That's what I was saying, that I would rather not be in that situation, because the worst thing is for you to genuinely be understanding. Let's say hypothetically speaking, right? Your significant other, let's say he loses his job or gets laid off and he's not working at all. And now you're stepping up to the plate and you're making the money, right? If I'm in that situation where I'm making the money, I'm going to be very like careful with how I word how I talk. Like now I'm walking around eggshells, because I don't want to give you a reason to think that I'm looking down on you or anything like that. But I feel like in situations like that, things can easily go left. Like if y'all get into an argument, things can easily go left. Things can be said.
Well, emotions are high.
Emotions are high.
Like very high, and you're very sensitive.
Yes, you're very sensitive. I don't know that I'm going to use it against a guy that I'm dating, but it's also like, I don't know that the guy is not going to try to like guilt trip me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say I would rather not be in a situation like that.
Yeah, but it's also like it's the potential of that happening also is very high.
It's very high.
Like you literally don't know when you have to step up your play. And it's also just knowing that like, you know, being prepared that like, hey, if this was to happen, I am gonna step up.
And I think that makes a lot of sense,
because like I don't think a lot of females, well, let me not say just females, but like let me put it that way, I don't know that a lot of people think about this. Like they don't think about the potential that you might need to be like, and it's not saying forever, you know, like, because it's very circumstantial, but it's like they don't think of the potential that you know, if my partner was to go sick or if they were to get laid off, am I like, if I had, you know, like, let's say I have the money, am I mentally okay with being like the breadwinner for this amount of time? Because some people, like, it's just, they don't want to, you know, whether they have the money or not, they don't want to.
And you know what's funny? Like, this is a little out of topic, but like most of the nursing classes that we've taken, if like when they teach about like the medical side, they teach about psychological sides as well. And one of the things that they mention in most of the disease processes is the assumption of new roles. Like now they're not just taking care of you, they're taking care of your family as well. In most of the diseases, especially if it's like a debilitating disease that the person ends up like wheelchair bound or something like that, they start talking to the family, because now you're gonna be the head of the household. You know what I'm saying? Now you're gonna have to find a way to take care of your family, you know? So that it's very real.
So now we've gotten to the point where, remember last episode we said we're gonna talk about segments this time around? Okay, so do you wanna so technically we were supposed to do our little segment and then do our dilemmas, but no dilemmas were sent in, so
you know, I guess, and so we're not gonna talk about dilemmas
we're gonna do it next episode or whenever, you know. I know we're still growing, so it's not even a big deal, anything like that. So whenever the first dilemma comes in, then we would add that on as we grow, but we're gonna get into our segments. And in this segments, I think we need to come up with a name for what it's called, but essentially it's going to be like an educational segment.
Yeah.
Where I am going to ask her questions in my field, very basic questions, of course, because like, she wouldn't know much about it.
Yeah, I don't know anything about accounting. So,
exactly.
yeah.
And then, so it's more so accounting, finance, business in general.
Yeah.
And then you're going to ask me questions in, I guess, the nursing field and
nursing,
the medical
biology,
field.
yeah,
which I am horrendous in. Like, literally, like, this is off topic, but I remember, like, going to my chemistry class one time and literally, like, just writing on my paper, like, why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here? Like, I'm not, this is real. This was, like, from 3. And, like, first of all, I didn't want to go into the chemistry class to take the exam. But then when I actually went there, they had, like, a whole bunch of equations or whatever. You ever see those movies where it's like words are spinning around you? That's exactly how I felt. And the whole thing I was just wondering, why am I here? Why am I here?
No, because that's how I felt. That's how I felt for the. You remember how we had to take accounting, right? We took accounting from 1, and I just couldn't get anything. Like I never did, never. I just don't like. You still help me budget. I just cannot get it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's business and accounting and finance, one of those things that you either get or you don't.
You either get or you don't. Like, it's not my forte.
But then also you have to, like, be interested in it.
It's not my forte.
Okay, so how do you want to do the segments? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'm going to go first. And I'm going to ask you basic questions. Okay. Like, it's the basic necessities in life.
I'm going to tell you guys, first of all, if I fail, don't come for me.
I'm pretty sure you're going to fail all of them because I just feel like...
I think what I'm going to do is like, I'm going to describe it based on what it sounds like.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, just don't give me a headache because... don't give me a headache because
that's what I'm going to do.
I feel like I remember when you took a biology class in college.
Yeah.
And I remember how much stress you were in. Like, it's almost like you had PTSD. So I know you're going to do pretty bad.
Yeah.
First question. What is photosynthesis?
What is photosynthesis? Let me see. I'm supposed to know this, but I think it's when it has something to do with plants, right? And I think it's either when a plant grows and gets water, is like
okay,
it's something along the lines of when the plant is growing, and then it comes in contact with water, and the water, like, I guess, evaporates and does something to it and it grows, something along those lines.
You know what? You're not far.
Oh, okay.
You're not
Define
far.
it.
So photosynthesis is a process by which plants use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to create oxygen and energy in the form of sugar to help plants grow. So I
wasn't far off.
You weren't far. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, even though I'm in the biology field, it's just some basic things that you ask me that I'm like, I know what it is, but I just don't know how to verbalize it.
Yeah.
Anyways, the next question. Okay. So that was botany, right?
Now we're going to... What now?
That was botany. Study of plants, you know? So now we're going to get into like the cells. Yeah? Pretty basic. What is the powerhouse of the cell?
The what?
The powerhouse of the cell.
The cell has different areas?
See, I've heard a lot of things, but this is the worst I've heard. You know, like, huh? What do you mean?
I'm sorry, I'm going to start crying.
What do you mean the cell has different areas?
Okay.
Okay, tell me, what do you know about a cell?
What do I know about a cell? Okay, so let's visualize it. In the body, I watched this, I think it's a Disney cartoon where it's like your different organs are like different like departments.
Okay.
And of course, like there's the heart, and they have like the workers that work in the heart and the kidney and whatnot. And then the cells are these little round thingies that are like all over the body. And there's like the cells in every organ in the body.
Yes. So in those
I guess
cells,
they have like an HR department and like different department like within the cells.
Within the cells, yeah, because you know how the heart has all its little compartments, right?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, the heart is its own department, yeah? Within the department, there's workers in that department as well. The cells are all over the body, but they still have departments within those little cells. So what is the powerhouse of that department within those little cells? That's what I'm asking you.
An atom?
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying to remember I don't know.
It's the mitochondria.
How the hell was I supposed to know that?
Because the mitochondria is part of the cell. It's the powerhouse of the cell. But I didn't expect you to know that. But that's fine.
Did you know that?
Yes. It's basic. It's really basic. Like, literally, it's actually really basic. Jesus, this bitch said it. Adam. That's crazy. Okay. So, the cell. We're still talking about the cell, right? I'm going to give you a short little lesson, yeah? The cell is made up of a cell membrane, right? The cell membrane. The membrane has like a double layer, which is a bilayer, right? So one of the layers is water loving and the other part of the layer is water hating. So one of it is hydrophilic, which is water loving, and the other part is hydrophobic, like a phobia of water, right? So think about it. Something that is hydrophilic is something that will love water. You know, it's going to associate with water.
Yeah.
And something that is hydrophobic is something that does not associate with water. It just hates water, yeah? So think about it. You are in your kitchen and you have table salt, yeah? Do you think table salt is going to be hydrophilic or hydrophobic?
It's the one that does water.
So what is it? Hydrophilic or hydrophobic?
I guess the philic one.
Good job. Yeah. Good. She got that right because I broke that down pretty good.
Yeah.
So you got that one right. That's good.
Okay, next question.
The last one. What is osmosis?
Say that again.
What is osmosis?
Does it have anything to do with oasis?
No, bitch. What the fuck are you on, bro? Osmosis.
I'm trying to. Okay, so you know how like in science they say like, oh, osmosis derived from the word or something. That's what I'm saying. Like, does it have any connection?
Oasis, bro. Jesus Christ.
Osmosis.
Okay. Osmosis.
Can you give another word for it?
Think water concentration.
I don't know. I don't fucking know. I can't think of anything.
If you remember back home, I don't even know if you were paying attention in class, but you know how we used to have our little chemistry classes? I'm giving you a hint. So, bitch, take note.
Yeah.
So, we used to have our little biology. Take notes, bitch, because I'm trying to break this shit down. So, we had a little biology experiment when they took us to the biology lab, right? So, they had 2 potatoes. One of the potatoes was boiled and the other one was not boiled. So, what they did was they created a hole in between them potatoes and they put water in it. In the boiled one, and they put water in the hard one. So with one of them, water went down, and the other one, water stayed stagnant. So what is osmosis?
Is the dehydration of water?
Well, if you put it that way, I'm not a biologist, you know, but like if you put it that way, I kind of see where you're getting, but that's fucking wrong. But osmosis is the movement of water from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration.
I don't know how the hell I was supposed to know all that.
I mean, I was giving you an example, bitch, because all of us done went through that same
I definitely
lab.
should have. I should have looked for more difficult questions because I went easy on her.
No, I didn't go easy. I was trying to break it. Do you think I went? Do you think I went hard on her?
The first 2 were pretty easy. That last one, I didn't even know what that was.
It's the osmosis. And
I thought osmosis was pretty easy because the lab was pretty fun.
Okay, Miss Scientist.
Okay.
I have 4 very basic definitions that you need to give me. Like, 4 very basic definitions. So the first one, define dividends.
Huh?
Define dividends.
Come on now. Let's see.
Dividends.
Yeah.
I know what dividends is.
So then define it the best way you can.
Do I know what dividends is? Dividends. Let's say you have a company.
Yeah.
It's making profit and losses.
You have
and
to
it's
have
making
heard
dividends.
about this. Wait, say that again?
You have a company. It's making profit and let's say there's profit and there's loss going on in the company and there's dividends. Is that where you meet like a flat line? Like there's no wins,
That's breaking even.
Breaking even?
That's not what I'm
That's not
talking
dividends?
about. No.
Are you dividing the profit and losses, bro? I don't fucking know.
Okay, so like, well, I'll define it though. It's very straightforward. But essentially, let's say that I have a company, right? And you're a shareholder or a stockholder in my company, right? Mm-hmm. Now you've invested however much you've invested, right? Whatever I pay you back, that's dividends.
Oh, wow.
So you receive dividends from me, from my company. Like that's basically what it is.
I said you're dividing the profit and the
So
loss.
in definition, it's a sum of money paid regularly, typically quarterly, by a company to its shareholders out of its profits or its reserves.
That's actually good.
Yeah, so that's what but it
Dividends.
has to be from the profits though.
Okay.
So like investors don't make dividends all the time. That's why I said that it's paid to you quarterly.
Okay,
Because like
gotcha.
if a company like says a startup for the first 2 years or 3 years, if it's not making that much money, then you as an investor, you're not making any dividends. But like it's, you know, like you can get paid a big sum at a certain time, essentially. Okay, so the next question, define a liability.
Oh,
And finance, because it can change.
Girl, I was
as
about to tell
like-
you about my insurance right now. I was about to break that shit down.
in finance, because it can vary, you know, as
The
to what you-
liability.
essentially it's the same idea, but yeah.
Okay, so you have something that you're trying to get coverage on. You don't want to get full coverage, and you get liability. The same thing in finance. Let's see.
No, what is the definition of that liability? What is that liability? You want to get a liability, but what is it?
You're trying to get something that is gonna get liable for. I don't fucking know, bro. Like,
Well, use your brain. Think
okay,
about it.
Let me think. Liability.
So I borrowed $1,000 from you, right? And I haven't paid that $1,000, you know, back to you, right? And like I have expenses, right? On my expense list, what is that $1,000?
That's a liability.
Because I owe it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So in definition, a liability is something a person or a company owes, usually a sum of money. That's literally it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus
so
Christ.
in insurance, a liability insurance would essentially be like, well, of course, it doesn't cover like everything that, you know, like you would want it to cover, but it's only going to cover like a little part of it. So it's like it varies in like finance and, you know, different
In
things,
different
but essentially
departments, okay.
it's the same
Okay.
idea.
Makes sense.
Like another example is your car. Your car, and so say you use the company car. For the company, the liability for the company would be the car.
The car, yeah.
Okay.
Because they're paying on it,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then like the flip of that would be
An asset.
asset.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
the
yeah.
asset is
Something
that-
you own.
Yeah.
Okay.
A liability is something you owe, an asset is something you own. But in accounting, a liability could be on. So in accounting, there's debits and credits, right? And that's pretty like credits are on the negative, debits are on the positive. A liability could be on the positive in a sense that I don't want to go too detail, but like essentially someone could owe you a liability and that's still going to go under like under a liability account, but essentially it's money you're getting in instead of money that's going out. Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense.
So like
yeah.
it kind of just depends. Anyways, next question. Oh, how many questions did I have for you? Did I only have what are return earnings?
I don't know where you're pulling these words from, bro. Return earnings. Okay. I want to say some kind of profit.
Just break it down. Return
Earnings.
yeah.
Jesus. It's profit. It has to be profit.
Okay, well let me you're pretty much right, but like not all the way right. But let me define it. So return earnings are the amount of profit a company has left over after paying all their direct cost, indirect cost, income taxes, and its dividends to shareholders. So like there's your whole revenue, like what your company is worth, right? Once you have paid out everything, expenses, you've paid out dividends, you've paid out literally everything you have to pay, whatever chunk is left, that's what's called return earnings.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what? I think, don't they usually, I guess that would be what them Shark Tank people be asking those people, like, what do you pay yourself?
Yeah.
Would that be similar?
Well, it will be essentially what how rich the company is in essence, because like you've paid direct costs, indirect costs, expenses, dividends, and you've paid yourself as well under wages.
Oh, wages,
so
okay.
wages have been paid for. So then it's kind of like how rich is the company is
okay,
return earnings. Yeah. Okay. And see, I'm going easy on her. Last question. What are bonds?
Huh?
What are bonds?
BONDS?
Yes.
Bonds. Young Thug is in jail right now. And he needs a bond.
It's definitely not that context.
I don't know what the hell bonds are.
It's definitely not. I'm not talking about dragging someone out of jail. No, that's a bail bond.
Nah,
like,
she didn't specify.
that's definitely not the context in business. What are bonds?
Bonds.
To make it easy, bonds.
James Bond.
Yeah. to give you context, like a bond has to be issued by the government.
Okay.
Yeah. To a business.
So would it be like a business loan?
Not necessarily.
If they go bankrupt, the government would give them money?
No, if you file for bankruptcy, they ain't giving you no money. Your file for bankruptcy means you don't have money.
You don't have money.
Yeah. Your assets are going to be liquefied.
So bonds, though. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So bonds, first of all, are issued by the government and corporations when they want to raise money. Right? So you are not far, but it clearly wasn't it. And then, so essentially, by buying a bond, you're giving the issuer a loan and they agree to pay you back the face value of the loan on a specific day and to pay you periodically interest payments as well along the way, usually twice a year.
Okay.
I just wrapped my thing on here. But yeah, that's essentially what bonds
That's
are.
interesting. I think I learned a lot today because how did I not know what a dividend was? That's what hurts my feelings the most.
Well, at least now you would know and you would remember like, oh, if I own a business, or not own a business because you can't get paid, but like if I invest in someone's company and I'm a shareholder or a stockholder or an investor, whatever that person pays me is not wages because I'm an investor. If I was an employee, then they'll pay me wages.
Pay you wages.
If whatever I'm getting back from there is called dividends.
Guys, that's why Cardi B said we should take a business class. Because I'm sitting over here like, I don't know what dividend. I'm talking about Young Thug is in jail. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I was over here thinking like, I'm asking her the most basic of the most basic
Don't
stuff.
try to have your shoulders up because, bitch, you didn't know what the fuck. What did I ask you? You didn't even know what that was.
Oasis or osmosis?
Okay, but like I think we should keep doing this. I think we learn from each other. Not that you really do anything with biology, but still.
I think I will. I mean, like if someone was to ask me what.
Somebody's gonna ask you what photosynthesis.
No, not that. No, what was the one in the middle of a cell?
Oh, the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell.
If you ever ask me that, I'll probably never. What is it? Mitochondria. I'll be sure to remember.
Yeah.
If she was the contest, then Joey wins.
She probably does.
Yeah,
I think.
I do.
You didn't answer.
I didn't know what the fuck she was
Talking about
asking me.
Young Thug is in jail.
Guys, let us know if you want us to continue this because I'm pretty sure some of y'all learned a lot from this because I know I'm not the only one that didn't know what dividends was.
True.
You know,
but we've come to the end of this episode.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for y'all to watch this one because I think the Christmas episodes are going to be pretty lit.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty nice. But yeah, that wraps it up, guys. You do the outro. You do it better.
All right, guys. We have come to the end of the video. We will see you guys in the next one. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on Instagram. Follow the TikTok. You know, go to Spotify, guys. Y'all keep slacking on Spotify. Go on Spotify. We're going to try to post on Apple Podcasts. We're getting there.
It's just a lot.
It's just a lot. But,
out.
you know, Spotify, guys. Rack up the numbers on Spotify. But that's it. We've come to the end. Go ahead and show us love on YouTube. I didn't mention YouTube. But that's it, guys. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.